Well, Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott spent the week in full political campaign mode, addressing town hall debates and confronting irate shoppers. But away from the politics, businesses have to figure out what the proposed scheme means for them. Michael Hitchens from the Australian Industry Greenhouse Network has been crunching the numbers for them. Well, Michael Hitchens, what's your industry group's response to the climate change package that was announced a week ago?
Alan, we're quite disappointed. There's four really key points that we have a problem with. The first is that this is a missed opportunity to do some economic reform on the 237 other policies that the Productivity Commission pointed out were quite costly. Secondly, it's going to leave our trade-exposed industries having to catch up by about $2 billion a year in costs compared to their competitors. Third, the electricity generation side of things is still very uncertain. And finally, the price itself of $23 is not at all consistent with current international prices, which are down at around about $15 a tonne.
And what's so uncertain about the situation in electricity?
The electricity generating sector was going to suffer around about a $10 to $12 billion asset value loss from the scheme. What's being offered at the moment is around $5 billion plus an unknown amount of money to buy out probably a brown coal generator. Those details remain uncertain. What is apparent, though, is that the black coal generators in New South Wales and Queensland look like they're going to suffer about a $5 billion asset value loss.
So what do you think the consequences on power generation will be of all this? Do you think we're headed for brownouts of some sort?
No, I don't think that's likely. The capacity will be there. It's the price that's the problem. Is this going to be an even bigger burden on our competitive situation?
And how do you come up with that figure of $2 billion in costs for trade-exposed industries?
We tend to boil this down to the number of permits that are allocated to the trade-exposed industries, and the number that they're starting with this time is about 124 million permits to cover the loss of competitiveness. But mining and manufacturing industry in Australia, they need about 195 million permits to break even, that is, to not have a competitiveness tax on them. So we're short about 70 million permits. That, over a period of time, turns into about a $2 billion a year tax on the competitiveness of manufacturing and mining.
Well, the government must know this. I mean, it's a pretty simple sum. What do you think's going on?
Well, the way the numbers work out is that they're distributing that $2 billion to other people. As they say, they've overcompensated low and middle income earners by about 20%. That works out to be $1 billion, about half of that $2 billion I'm talking about. They seem to have given maybe $500 million a year extra to renewables, perhaps $200 million a year to the farm sector through the carbon farming initiative.
So you would say, therefore, that at the heart of this scheme is a wealth transfer from exporters to households of $2 billion?
That's certainly what it looks like to us, yes.
On the subject of the other things, apart from the emissions trading scheme and carbon tax, the government seems to have ignored all of the advice, including that of the Productivity Commission, that all of those schemes, renewable energy schemes, are a waste of money.
Yes, it's been really quite disappointing on that score. What they should be doing is phasing out those renewable schemes much quicker. There is now going to be a price on carbon in the economy, albeit only 59% of the economy. But there is going to be a price there, and there's now no need to have these subsidies on renewables and other areas of the economy.
Could you just explain that 59%?
Well, the scheme's coverage looks like it works out to be about 59% of Australia's emissions. That is, by leaving out transport, by leaving out agriculture, by what looks like leaving out the waste sector. One of the keys to carbon pricing being efficient is that it is economy-wide, and clearly this is not.
Thanks very much, Michael Hitchens.
Good, thanks, Alan.